No, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Suited and Booted. We are back in the studio, my favourite place to be. I hate doing pods outside of the studio because I'm just comfy here. To my left, we have...
Lord Mahazi, no tea. No tea on me.
No tea on him. To my right, we have...
GD, Gavin Denise.
I'm Jarogba, my new name. And today we have... really the only type of guest that Suited and Booted would have, so unique. They haven't even done a podcast before. Exclusive, world exclusive. We have the masterminds behind AU BALLERZ, Arnold and his son Guillaume. Let's get a round of applause. Welcome, fellas. How are we feeling?
Thank you. Thank you for the welcome. Yeah, feeling well.
Feeling good?
Yep.
Gee, you good?
Yeah, feeling very good.
Excited. Let's go, man. All right, so for those who don't know, AU BALLERZ is taking the country by frickin' storm. I'm nearly 30, allegedly. Right, so it wouldn't be exactly a page for my demographic, but I follow it, and all my friends follow it, and everyone sends the videos around. It's a big phenomenon. It is basically... Well, I'll let you describe what it is, Arnold.
Sure.
Describe what it is.
Yeah, so it basically highlights a lot of the young talent that we have in football. We started off in Victoria, but we're now branching out to states like WA and Sydney, New South Wales, with the aim to go to all other states.
Yep. I'll cut this out, Olasaji. Is his audio loud enough? Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
am I moving too far out?
Yeah, just Daniel will move it. That's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So your style, though, it's very up close. I wouldn't say it's edit heavy. There are edits, but I guess that's just a part of moving with the times.
Yes.
I always want to know, like, with the funny captions and stuff, you're not writing them, are you?
No. So
You're not writing like, oh, this kid's glazing or whatever.
No. Half of that I have to research and find out what it means.
He cooked him.
When I do find out, I think sometimes it's probably inappropriate for me to be endorsing that. But look, it's we have had to sort of cater for the audience that we have. You know, it's the 13 to even 23-year-olds that watch our content, and that's what excites them. We see it through, you know, the number of views and likes that we get, and even some of the comments. So that's
When you say that's the viewers, what is the target age group that you're looking at for young ballers? Is there a bracket that's like?
Yeah, definitely. Look, we're looking at mainly that sort of junior NPL level. We did sort of touch on senior NPL, and we found that our audience doesn't really resonate to that.
Yeah, right.
We got Heidelberg versus South Melbourne, and that, even though the quality was the same, even I upped the quality, we just didn't get the
Why do you think that is?
I think if kids or our audience wants to watch that level, they'll watch an A-League, you know, Channel 10 broadcast. They'll get closer, they'll get better quality. And
I think it's... sorry to cut you off. I think it's because there's just more excitement as a young player. And if you're watching you or your friends, it's like, oh, my God. Yeah. Like, you know, we're in front of thousands of people here. Whereas NPL players, let's be real, they're not the most communal bunch.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I also think it's like when you see a new player or even the junior players that are coming through and you see that player, you know, the way they move or they might do something different and you're like, oh, it keeps you in tune. Where the boys in the NPL, most people know who they are by now and it's not getting thrown around as much, you know?
That's it. And I don't want to say their career's over, but like you would probably think, all right, if you're playing in the NPL, the highest you can get is maybe to get called up to A-League. If not, you might go Bangladesh.
Yeah. And I think also everyone wants a young player to be successful. Seeing a young player do well and seeing that footage, it's like Spain, right? Jamal.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to watch him. The hype was all about him. But it's just because everyone's so happy that a 16-year-old is doing such things at such a big
Yeah, I
tournament.
remember when I was younger watching, like trying to search up who's the best under 20-year-old, who's the best 17-year-old. When you're around those ages, Gail Kakuta, remember that?
Brother, you're talking to a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, true.
He was literally meant to be the best player ever. Guess what? He wasn't.
What's he doing now? I've heard
He plays Ligue 1.
I've heard that he's like proper.
No, he's a proper. He's bro.
Yeah, yeah.
He played for most of his career. I believe it was in the French First Division. So he's a proper player.
Who's your favourite young player, Guy?
I've got to say either, I mean, I know he's not that young anymore, but either Saka or I like to say Emery from PSG. Obviously having a French background, seeing him shine at a young age.
Let's go. He's good.
It's a good one.
And I think what we found is that these kids, our followers, can relate. You know, they're not, okay, yeah, he's good because he's an adult. He's got the muscles. He's tall.
Yeah, exactly.
He's strong. You know, that kid's 14. That kid's 15.
Yeah.
I'm 15. If he can do that, I can do that. So I think that's where the attraction is. It's relating themselves to these players on the screen.
And I think also that because I coach, and you do too, Rash, obviously I'm coaching them at a certain level and so many times a week, but I'm not going to their games. And before you guys, there was no real footage that I would ever see whatsoever. So it was kind of nice because then these little snippets, there has been boys that I've trained in the past and I go, oh, you know, this is really good footage of them that's being shown. So I think in that also, like, you've got your VEOs that are going around, and even myself, I get them. The quality is so bad,
It's
you know.
bad,
like
yeah.
I'll get it sent by the coach, and I'm 40 meters on the other side of the pitch. You know.
Was there anything else before you guys?
There was. So the guy we've partnered up with, so his 50-50 partner is George. He ran Only the Finest. So that's where we sort of got the idea as well. He was doing basketball. He does AFL for another group. And then soccer was his sort of main one. He stopped that for some reason middle of last year. And then we didn't pick it up. We had our own style. And then he reached out to us to say, hey, you know, love what you're doing. Let's connect. And he's been a godsend to our site. You know, he's elevated the following, the quality to what it is now.
So let's just rewind a bit. Let's go back to, I guess, why you started it, how it started, who came up with the idea. I know you said you got inspiration from Only the Finest, but in terms of your brand, AU Ballers, what you wanted to do with it, where did that inspiration come from, and how much of it was Guy?
Yeah. So, you know, videography, photography is purely a hobby of mine. I've got all the gear. Some would say no idea, but I'd go to his games and I'd film. During COVID, we did some, you know, YouTube videos, and that was more of a project for me to, you know, kill time. And then after a while, you know, we realized, you know, there's no real audience for, you know, Guillaume, apart from me, the family. So Guillaume said, hey, Dad, why don't we, you know, film some of my friends? You know, they're really talented. You know, they've got good footwork. Why don't we do that? So we started off with Alex. Not Alex, sorry. Who was?
Aiden.
Aiden. From his Box Hill team. We started off with a small clip. I look back at it, it was really bad.
Yeah, right. Was it?
I'm like,
yeah,
what?
okay.
But then he loved it. And then his parents, you know, texted me and said, oh, this is amazing. We love it. I'm like, oh, really? And then it grew from there. His other teammates said, oh, can you do one of me? And then we turned up to another game. And, you know, and these are like pretty bad quality. And then he just grew from there. We then got DM saying, hey, I'm playing this week. Can you come to my game?
Here we go.
Oh, you know, can you come to my game? Oh, can you do me one? And then before you know it, we're getting about 20 messages at least a day saying, can you come to this game? Can you come to that?
So it sounds like it kind of started just organically, like, okay, just Guy, then Guy and his mates, then,
Yeah,
okay, reaching out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right. So there wasn't really a longevity view. Okay, this is what we want to achieve. This is what we want to do.
No, so, this was a hobby. I've got a full-time job. I could only commit a Sunday, one game, one edit. And that's how we started. Yeah. One game, and then we'd shoot we'll release the edit on a Thursday because that's the only time I had. And then I was just getting, when are you going to send it out? Can you do this? Oh, what about me? I was playing at that game. Can you do me an edit? I'm like, look, I'm trying to juggle all of this. And that's why when George came in, he's a bit of a freelancer. He was able to sort of lift that to multiple videos.
How was it at school, Guy? Like, were kids coming up saying, "Oh, can I be in it?"
I mean, it's at my school. It's not really a bit like the football culture is not really that big. It's more footy, basketball. But more recently, all my mates have just been like crazy about it, and even just sometimes getting approached at like the train station and
yes.
When Tottenham came down to play Newcastle, I remember hearing it like after the game, just walking. I heard someone say, "Oh, that's AU Ballers."
Because they recognise you because you do little interviews on the page, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I think that's cool as well that you've added that aspect to it. And for someone so young to be able to talk in front of it's not easy. Being able to talk in front of the camera, especially when there's the pressure of, I got someone standing here. What if they're awkward? So you're doing a good job, bro. But I guess it's good to, I guess, put a face to the brand as well. Not just like, who are these guys? Like, where are they? Are they real humans or are they just like, So I think that's a cool part of it. Going back to what you said about the requests. It's all fun and games until some dad or mum comes up and says, "Hey, buddy, how about I give you $500 and you post my kid?" What is your response to that, and how have you dealt with that? Because I know you've dealt with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have had a few, dads saying, "I'll donate some money."
Donate
or straight up, how much does it cost for you guys to film? Our blanket response is, look, we don't charge at all.
Right.
To be
I didn't
featured.
know
No,
that.
we
Right.
don't.
Okay.
So it may be going out there that we charge. I think back in the day, only the finest did. But when I started this, I said to Guillaume, we're not going to charge a cent for this. $50 here, $100 there. Does nothing for us. And the thing is, football in Australia is expensive enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take $50 or $100 from a kid or a parent, purely, it just doesn't sit well with me. I did get a kid who I filmed and I featured, and he said, "Look, thanks so much for that. I can only give you $20 maybe for the petrol." And I love that. And I said, "Look, mate, promise me you won't spend this on a vape, and we'll call it even." And he said, "I'll never touch it in my life." So, they're the sort of things that I'm quite firm with.
And he went on to be Gavin. That kid went on to be Gavin, which was crazy. Because
man, imagine you guys were around when Gav was a child.
I'll say this, right? I'll give you some props. I'm telling you right now, this is just off what I heard when I was younger. Because I'm nearly 30, allegedly. If AU Ballers was around in the early to late 2000s, Gavin would have been the poster boy for the page.
There you go.
And he would have probably played for Barca.
Probably. You probably would have had a better career if you had better highlight reels than 240p Motorola Razr videos that are on YouTube of you. I scored 8 goals. I don't even know if it's you. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's why I think it's really good having you on and what you're doing for Australian football, especially for the youth. Because from my perspective, at the ages that you're filming, from 12 to 18 or whatever it is, I look back now And I wish I had that footage, you know, because I just have so many memories that are just memories, but they're not written down or there's no video footage of it. And even my time when I went overseas, when I was in Argentina, there was so much of that stuff that what you guys are doing and what you guys are producing is so important that I think there are two sides of it. I have heard, you know, there are coaches out there that aren't a fan of AU Ballers because they think you guys are bringing certain, you know, attraction that the kids are just looking for the camera now.
Yeah.
But I think there's a bigger side to that. And it's, at the end of the day, everyone needs to promote themselves, you know. And if it's self-promotion, if it's, you know, through video, for myself in my career, if I didn't have certain footage or if I didn't have, you know, played at certain places, definitely wouldn't have got me as far as I did.
How Rash, you have a question. I can hear it.
How you can hear me going?
Yeah. So
Waiting for him to finish talking.
Yes. So I'll give you permission to ask it after this. But how important was footage for you to get gigs at clubs, Gavin?
Till this day, like I reckon now in the NPL, I'm kind of known enough that I can get gigs without showing who I am.
Yeah.
But before that, I would need a highlights reel. They would say to me, show me footage of yourself, you know. Before I went to Portugal, I had to send. Anywhere from Portugal onwards needed to send.
And then you just cropped your head on Messi, didn't you?
Like literally. And that's what I think. If I had kids and they were playing at a certain level, like NPL level, I'd be wanting to do what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You know?
We spoke about it on the phone a little bit, and we were kind of thinking, far out. There's actually, it's quite incredible, but it probably will happen that a kid will get an opportunity, like a massive opportunity in their career from what you guys are doing. And I was wondering, obviously you're going to keep doing the short form because that's amazing. Are you looking to do long form, full games, analysis?
Yeah.
What's the...
absolutely. And you know, to your point, it sounds a bit fluffy and all that, but for us, you know, Guillaume and I have always said, if this gives even one kid an opportunity to play A-League, but it's still, you know, even in Asia or Europe, you know, we've done our jobs. And it's not, you know, about making it all, you know, lovey-dovey, but it's true because there's so much talent here and we get so much crap from overseas and some of these comments, you know, showing what we do have here, that'll, you know, increase that profile in Australia. And maybe there will be investment here, you know, albeit small, at least there's that attention. And
I've always said when I went to Argentina, okay, we see top level players, but when I was a kid, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, we had top players at that age. And then all of a sudden between those years, 13, 14, 15, it slowly drops off and the gaps gets bigger. Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe if they do get these opportunities at younger ages or they get recognised and put into the right training environment with the right coaches and stuff, okay, that standard goes higher or stays high maybe.
Guy, who are some kids that you guys have showcased on AU Ballers that have gone on to either play for the 23s or has there been any that have signed senior contracts?
Well, a very known name in the football community, Beckham Baker.
Yes.
He was definitely one of the kids who skyrocketed our count because we were stuck in sort of they call it 20, 1,000 view jail, really low thousands. And then all of a sudden we posted a highlight reel of him and collaborated with him. It got 90,000 views on it. And now he's playing with Melbourne City under 18s and 23s at the age of 16. And another kid that we filmed, his name's Callum Pickford. He's 16. We filmed him playing against Green Gully under 18s at the age of 16, and he just got his senior contract.
Oh, wow.
Damn, congrats, man.
You know, maybe it wasn't through our media or social media platform that happened, but maybe it's just emphasized that they are actually good players. You know, they've done something that has triggered a coach or a TD's sort of interest and said, hey, let's have a
But
better look at this.
You know what else, Arnold, that I think is really important, especially to give young players an opportunity? This happened to me when I trialled at Melbourne Heart. So I trialled at Melbourne Victory first. Then I went and trialled at Melbourne Heart. Melbourne and Victory didn't offer me anything. Melbourne Heart offered me a contract. As soon as they offered me a contract, Melbourne Victory offered me a contract.
Wow.
So this is kind of a situation where if they're shown and everyone starts seeing, oh, this player that was kind of hidden away that is good, or we're not ready to give him an opportunity or give him a contract yet, now the whole of Melbourne sees it, every other club sees it, might push that club to go, we better sign him before someone else does or something, you know?
How do you go about identifying what is talent and what's not? Because obviously there are some incredible players in the youth systems here, but not every single one of them, with all due respect, deserves a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And I think your page is to highlight the absolute standouts. So how do you go about identifying which games to go to, which players to keep an eye on? Because, you know, excuse my French, what if I'm shit? And I just say, hey, I'm playing this weekend. Even if it's at an NPL 1 or JBNPL, it's a whole friggin' alphabet these days. How do you identify, all right, this is who we're going to film, this is the club, this is the player?
Yeah, so at the moment, the process we go by is we're limited to Div 1 at the moment.
Yep.
And, you know, there's reasons for that. We are branching out to Div 2 and even eventually community. But, you know, to answer your question, we do look at the teams, we'll look at the players, and also feedback from other players. You know, they'll DM us and say, you know, come see this player, absolute baller, you know. And generally we find that if we're filming a Bulleen, if we're filming a Victory, you get, you know, the ballers there. You know, Malik, for example, they never disappoint. You know, Beckham Bacon now with City, you know, he never disappoints with highlight reels. You know, we do tend to feature some players more often than not.
Yeah.
It's just because on the day, you know,
they're good.
They're providing those highlight reels that kids want to watch.
Are you going to the games for a one player only, or are you filming in general?
Generally, we know that if it's, you know, a high level, you know, Victory, City, Bulleen, we know there'll be many players, but we know the key ones that we'll, you know, focus on, but then generally follow the game. And then if we see something, you know, stand out, that's a feature right there.
I've also heard this, that if there's a big game on in the NPL juniors, players are going in the change room. Are you balls, Clout? Are they coming?
Really?
Yeah.
See, that was like my only probably, well, one of my criticisms or questions, I guess, to you is that it's like, as a consumer, I have noticed myself, and when I knew you guys were coming on, I wanted to ask you about this, because my instinct now when I see you guys post is, I think, because you post so frequently, which obviously helps your algorithm, and you need to do it. I'm in the social media world, I understand it. But my feeling is like, there can't be that many ballers in Melbourne to be posting that frequently every day or every second day or whatever it is. Is there from you guys, how do you balance that? Okay, we need frequency of post with keeping the quality high.
Yeah.
Like, how do you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we've done our research, and as you alluded to, algorithms, you know, are king when it comes to building your profile. So initially we had to pump it out. We had to keep, you know, those algorithms happy to grow our followers, get the content. It wasn't, you know, just, oh, you know, that's a play, we'll put it up. You know, there were certain criteria to feature it. Now that we've got that momentum, we're now you know, sort of paring it back now. As you've probably seen, we're not posting 4 or 5 videos a day. It's probably more 3 a day. And, you know, we've made it a point to go quality over quantity.
Yeah.
But initially we had to get that algorithm or you know, make that algorithm happy to now get us to where we are.
Yeah.
And I was concerned about that, you know, filming for the sake of filming. Are these quality players? we do film a whole game and we do pinpoint or pick those highlight reels to feature, not just, oh, look, that guy's got a nice pass or, he's kicked the ball, let's feature that.
Would you say then trajectory is to lower the frequency as you get bigger, lower the frequency, and then you're just nailing, okay, that is the top 1, 2, 3 players or whatever it is, not a huge range?
Yeah, so there's two parts to that. We want to continue to highlight those top players. That if we're at a game and they do something, that's worthy of, we will. But also we want to give maybe some of those players that aren't, they don't have that profile, they don't have that attention, to give them more attention. So we do say, Australia's best ballers. That's not necessarily, the best ballers, but, the ones that have those qualities, they're tenacious, they've got resilience, they get tackled and they're up again.
Aura.
What's that?
Aura.
Yeah. Aura, exactly. The confidence, or, they're just everywhere. Some of our videos are, this kid's everywhere. That doesn't mean he's techie. It doesn't mean he's, this big.
He's a Kante.
He's a Conor Gallagher.
Exactly, yeah. And we also highlight, it's not only, this kid scored a goal, that kid scored a goal. It's, through balls, passing. This defender, you can't get past him. This winger's, he's lightning quick. So it's those characteristics that we're trying to highlight, not just, this kid, is a scoring machine, or this kid's got...
Not just the Neymars.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we then limit that exposure to all these players, and we don't want to do that. We want to showcase how good we are in Australia. 28 million people. Imagine, we profile a high ratio of player to population. Per capita, if we can show that to the likes of Asia or Europe.
Oh yeah. So what's the go with, and Guy, you're in the change room, so maybe you could speak to it a little bit, but what's the go with, have you found, it's maybe hard for you to comment on, but have you found that if they know you're filming, do the kids try to do too much on the pitch?
Well,
like if their coach says, hey, listen, don't fuck about, right? Play how we play. We have a system, but they know AU Ballers is going to be there. Are the kids like, oh, you know what? I might chuck in an extra step over.
Are they scoring and looking for the camera?
Yeah.
They kind of do C in front of it.
What do you reckon, Guy? What do you reckon to that? What do you reckon about that?
well, definitely, you can definitely tell that there's people who try and do a bit too much when they can see the camera, but players usually tend to focus, get in the flow state when they get on the pitch, make sure they perform, don't do too much. If there's a camera, they'll do a cheeky celebration after they score, but there's times where there's definitely players who do too much, but tend to be quite conservative in staying to the game plan, staying to how they usually play, and just focusing.
Because that's a great answer, man. Because you're very well spoken.
Yeah, you are.
Very well spoken. I think that actually is a good point, because if you try too hard and then you look like a fool, then it might be like, oh, I've just, I've made a fool of myself here. Whereas, like you said, if you get in that flow state, then the passes start coming and then everything starts sort of intertwining, and that's when you can maybe pull out a few things here and there.
And just to cut you off, Jerome.
No, go for it.
I think it's also important for all the kids watching that obviously at junior football, there is very limited camera going on. So this is kind of a new thing for young players to have. But when you're at senior football, it's 24/7. So I'm sure, Rashid, when you were playing at Victory, that was the last thing on your mind, like, the highlight reel that I can get out of this.
He was a butcher.
I was just thinking that it's interesting because the nuance is they're highlighting only good things. So at senior football, if you have a blunder, you know that that's going on the camera. So you've got to worry about it and try to do something good for it. Like, you're not thinking, to be honest, like you said, you get on the field, you play, you're not thinking about it. You get into that flow state, you start playing. But there definitely is the thought when you're walking out onto the field, when you're in the change rooms or whatever, if there's a camera and if everyone's watching, it's the same thing. Like hundreds of people in the crowd, or there's a camera there. Yeah, you're thinking people are watching me. People are watching me. Eyeballs are on me.
In the last couple of years, compilations, especially on Twitter, have skyrocketed. Yeah. Now, I like them. They're cool. They have cool songs in the background, but they can make a crap player look amazing. Then on the flip side of that, there are so many fail compilations. Yeah. Now, obviously doing that to anyone under the age of 18, 21, you're sad. Obviously no one's going to do that. But if you are a professional footballer, I can find a fail compilation for some of the best players in the world. And if you don't watch football or know how that player plays, you could base your opinion off a compilation.
Yeah, 100%.
Which can get a bit technical.
What do you guys think about the psychology of what you're doing for the players from the side of worrying about the camera and trying to impress that side? Mm-hmm. Also the side of maybe, does this make them feel like if they're already, let's say, an arrogant player and they think they're too good, does this make them now think, I'm the top dog? And then even the other side, the player that's on the receiving end of when they get drilled in a game and the camera's showing them getting drilled or falling over or getting nutmegged. What do you guys think of the psychology side of it?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. And we have thought about this, me being a parent, I think to myself, how would Guillaume respond to, being featured as a superstar, and on the flip side, as you said, as someone who gets nutmegged or does something makes a mistake. I think to your point, if they've got a big head already, and does this give them a bigger head, regardless of what we feature? That's going to be their personality. They'll be like that with their teammates, with other players. And we find that we've got some big characters that we've filmed off the pitch, off the camera. That's their personality. And it's not like they switch it on because AU Ballers are there. They're just constant. I won't name names, but there's a few of them, and I think that's great. And also from a
I would have hated.
Yeah, I would have been.
I would have hated you. I would have literally tried to injure you. Keep going.
Is that like you were like that?
I remember me as a junior. I was so confident that in here I'd just win games by myself, and I would rub it in.
But I'm not talking about, because confidence is not an issue. It's great if you have confidence.
Yep.
Confidence is an issue if it's affecting you to think to the extent of, okay, now you're not doing the things that you should do or need to do because you think you've already made it. I'm on AU Ballers. I'm on the TV. I've already made it. So I'll just chill.
That's the mindset of the kid.
Look, I think, and that I've thought about as well. But the other side to that, and actually a few parents have mentioned this to me. They said that, what you're doing is you're showing these kids, they see your Messis, they see your Mbappes on the big screen, and they know, there's millions, billions of people watching them. You're giving him that glimpse of what it can be, what it can be like. This is, albeit 70,000 followers combined. That's a lot. That's a lot for a kid, and for them to dream, that to that level. This is what it can be like, and we're hoping that can push them even harder if they want to pursue a professional career. So sort of that's the positive take. And there are going to be those things where, situations where kids are going to say, I want to be on camera, that's all I want to be. But from what I've heard and what I've read, if that's your motivation for football, you're not going to get as far as,
I was just going to say, if you're a kid and you're watching this, listen to me.
Daddy Jerome.
Listen here. With all due respect to AU Ballers, if your mentality is, I've made it on AU Ballers, I'm going to become a pro, guess what? You're not. And We're talking about the top level NPL teams here. We're talking about Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City. I'm so certain that their coaches are in there saying, I don't care who's filming. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. I don't care about highlight reels. I don't care about this. Because guess what? We need an inverted fullback. So I don't care about your little highlight reel. I know they're saying that. I don't know factually, but I'm assuming. So I just think I'm agreeing with you. You're not going to make it pro if you have that mindset of, oh, well, I made it on a TikTok that got 50,000 views. I have a TikTok with 1 million views. Guess what? Still here. Still ain't getting paid.
And so the other side of the let's say the bullying that could come from it. What's your experience so far? What have you heard? Yeah, and what are the parents saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, fortunately for us, we haven't had many instances where someone said, "Look, take it down," and we have. Just recently we had someone reach out to us to say, "Look, love what you're doing for Australian football. This wasn't my best game, and look, I'd appreciate if you take it down." And we take it down straight away. Yeah. We explain, look, we're really sorry. And usually what we do with these videos is to highlight positivity. This one in particular was, the person did everything they could, and then it came out, it was a positive outcome. But still in their mind, it showed that they messed up. So we said, yep, really, appreciate you reaching out. We've taken it down. And that's what we do with all of them. There was a recent one where someone reached out and said, look, I don't want to go into specifics, but, there's going to be a lot of rude comments, inappropriate comments, body shaming, etc. So, even before they reached out, I put a comment in, any rude and inappropriate comments will be deleted.
Cool.
And we spent a lot of time just cleaning up, a lot of the those sexist. We don't tolerate sexist, racist, misogynistic, homophobic comments. We delete that. I mean, TikTok and Instagram does a good job, but we make sure we filter those comments.
Jerome just argues with them.
Now, let me just be my own lawyer here. Let me be my own defense. My rule is, and this really doesn't have too much to do with AU Ballers, but since Rash brought it up, I'm going to say it. My rule is, if you are rude in how you disagree, I'm going to put you in your place. If you just disagree, that's fine. I don't know everything. I barely know anything about NPL, right? And I do a whole podcast on it. So if you say, you know what, disagree, you're wrong, this happened, I'll be like, all right, cool. If you say, oh, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, then you've just opened the floodgates. And you are, obviously AU Balls aren't going to do it because you've got a brand. But for me, I'm not tied to anything. Obviously, I don't take it too far because you can't on Instagram anyway. Because some of the comments I've responded back, are you sure you want to respond with this? And I'm like, okay. I need my account. Yeah. But even what Rash was saying regarding the parents, talk to us about the positive response from the parents and then talk to us about the negative response from the parents. We spoke. I know the positive far outweighs the negative. Yeah. Let's cover both sides.
Yeah. So the positives are that, we're getting, my son's playing this. Here's a highlight reel that I took on the phone. Can you do an edit? And, we politely say, look, unfortunately, we need high quality and it doesn't, suit our sort of filming style. But, keep us, keep us informed. We may come to one of his games or her games.
Yep.
And we're getting a lot of that, which is great. The flip side, we don't usually get a lot of parents saying, take it off. There was another example where the parent said, look, I think it's a great video, but my son doesn't want it on because he feels embarrassed. And we that was the same video that we took off.
have you ever been at a game and a coach has said to not film, or a parent has said you can't film?
Hold on. Now, he's going to ask that question again in the mic because this is a really good question, Gav.
Yes.
Right? Let's go.
All right, take 1, 2, 3.
Hang on, before we do that, I'm not going to name because
No, you don't have to name clubs, nothing.
No, but I want to, but I don't. But anyway,
Yeah. Is this what we spoke about on the phone?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Arnold, I've got a question for you. Have you ever been at a game?
Talk in the mic, man.
Taking again.
Just talk, man. Talk.
Arnold, have you ever been at a game where a coach or a parent has said, nah, I don't want you here. Please don't film more?
Yeah. So we had a situation. It was with a coach who approached us and said, what are you doing? We explained who we are and what we do. And he said, no, look, you can't film. You're not allowed. We were at a public venue where legally we could film. But yeah, we continued to film, but then he stood in front of the camera and we called it a day. But so what triggered, what happened then was I approached Football Victoria. Just not because of that situation, but just to not only for safety, but so we're operating above board. You know, the last thing I want is to, you know, go against the rules or go against Football Victoria, who ultimately, you know, sort of has a lot of that say. And they came back to say, we love what you're doing. Here's a media pass. So we've now got a media pass to allow us to film any NPL, junior NPL games, and even the seniors up till the 32nd round of the finals, NPL final.
Australian Cup.
Yep.
So I guess it's not a topic that, you know, it sort of needs to be asked, and we've spoke about this. In terms of filming kids, obviously can be frowned upon for various reasons, as everyone, I don't need to say the word. How do you get around that? Like, what are the laws and stuff? You told me that you're fully, you know, aware of the laws and stuff, and how does that go?
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, so I did research that, knowing that, you know, I don't want to be breaching any you know, rules, laws, getting ourselves into trouble. You know, my understanding is that when you're filming these events, just as long as you're not filming, you know, inappropriately, you know, focusing on areas that you shouldn't, making sure that, you know, the content is for that purpose, then generally you're fine. You know, and yeah, you've seen our content, and I think if we were filming inappropriate content, the authorities would be knocking on our doors.
Oh, they'd be all over
hands
it.
down.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a site, you know, and I'd be in jail.
Can I ask you, from a player's perspective, being on the ground and having that filmed? I know it's like, it's someone you know, and it's a bit different maybe from your perspective, but what does that feel like when you feel like, you know, you're getting filmed, there's a highlight reel going to come out of this from the player's perspective?
Well, I mean, it's like different in my perspective, but a lot of my friends in football have definitely told me their experiences, how going to the game, previously requesting for AU Ballers to be at the game, and then they show up. That's excitement before the game, causes a bit of nerves, but excitement, and like they're even more motivated to score, win, do everything they can, and yeah, excitement is through the roof when you have a camera like filming you for highlight reel being posted to almost 60,000 people, and yeah.
And I think, you know, from our experience anyway, you do see that. You see that excitement. You hear, oh, AU Ballers are here constantly. Oh, you're filming our game. You know, I'm number this, I'm number that. And, you know, all of the banter between the guys, oh, you know, don't film him. You know, it's actually refreshing and it's nice. It gives them that sense of relaxation. You know, they all muck around. But when they're actually playing, you know, we're zoomed in really close. We've got, you know, zoom lenses. They're oblivious. They're oblivious to the camera there, especially if they've got the ball they're running down the wing, they're a striker about to receive, they're oblivious, and you see it. You see in their face. You know when someone's sort of doing that.
Can you tell me your process of setting up, coming to the ground? Do you make an attempt to be to be seen or to be hidden? How do you?
We're quite discreet in when we turn up. I've got a black case, couple of tripods,
and a massive 200-meter sign with an arrow saying AU Ballers filming right here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because of Guillaume, he's got that profile. They know, that he's there. Look, we do have a sticker on my case, but I think we've been around enough that people know we're there.
Are you on the ground now?
On the pitch, on the side of the pitch. We were, and, we generally had permission to do that, but because of our filming style and our lens, we sort of tend to go off, even, behind the fence.
Because even me, when I watch it, it's a very unique way of filming and the video, and that's why I think it's drawing so much attention.
Yeah.
Is because the way it is filmed is very unique of what is out there.
Yeah, and that was intentional. You could initially we thought, we'll go on this center line and pan across. Yeah. And we tried that, and the swinging wasn't as aesthetic. And then we realized, one side of the wing where you're seeing the action coming to you, and you're not panning and you're not going everywhere. That created and that created that excitement, and even slowing that motion down. You could sort of see them coming towards you. With more footage rather than look, they've just swung past.
Yeah.
So
Could you give us a little rundown? Let's just say I'm a parent. I want to start filming my child. What would be the basic things you should buy to get into filming, or is there little ways you found out about it? Because it's your hobby at the end of the day, isn't it?
Absolutely.
No one else is allowed to do it. It's AU Ballers.
But,
I know,
what
I'm
if they
joking.
can't make
Let
the
them
game?
try.
What if they're playing
No.
State 5?
They're the bad guys.
Oh, look, and but
what's wrong with
that was a conversation we had. To your point, Jerome. People are copying us, this and that, and for us, the more people that copy, the better. That exposes so much more players, so many more players. It increases the profile of football in Australia. It's only a win for everyone.
Yeah.
And the good thing with social media, it's not, okay, I'll follow you, so therefore I can't follow you. It's I'll follow you, I'll follow you, I'll follow you, I'll follow you. And then if we expose, football to as many people as we can in different formats, like what you guys are doing, what we're doing, it's only a win for the game here. Yeah. And that's the goal that we have. Sorry, to your question, look, unfortunately, the key is an iPhone's not going to cut it. It's got limitations on zooming and also the aesthetics of the phone. A zoom lens is, I think, is
It's imperative.
Important. Because it can get you that close footage. You know who you're filming, because some of these iPhones, as we said earlier, you don't know who it is.
Stabilizer in it, so
There's that.
it's a bit windy out there.
Oh, mate, if my brother's on... I try to film every goal attempt from my brother. Shout out Lindell. And if he's on the other side of the pitch, the video is crap.
I've noticed.
You've noticed?
Oh, poor Matt.
No, he still scores.
No, I'm saying the video.
Oh, they're horrible. Because I'm standing under some
just
State
see-
4 shelter, zoomed in as far as you can go.
Like this. This is it.
You had him having a punch on the other day. You had him having a fight.
He's like,
He was chilling. He was chilling on the bench. I'm not promoting that. Saying.
So, in terms of the actual process of getting the footage, editing it, all that, what is your process, and what would you say is no one sees how much work and time we message and how much work he does for editing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How many hours do you guys think you guys are spending per week doing this?
Yeah, look, when I first started, or when we first started, you know, it would start on a Sunday. We'd film a game, and it's not just the 2 30-minute halves or, you know, however long, depending on the game. It was getting there, half an hour sometimes, filming, and then, you know, packing up and then chatting with anyone else. So there's a few hours there. And then you get home, you download, because they're high quality, you know, we film in 4K, you know, that takes a while. And then there's the cutting of the footage, because you're basically just, you know, we film, stop. So you look through the footage, okay, cut this rubbish out, cut that, throw-ins, cut that. And then you're looking for those gems, you know, this move, that move. So a lot of that, you know, I've spent 3 hours, you know, in an evening for one game. And now we've got, you know, multiple games. We're getting Sydney content, we're getting WA content, so there's editing there.
Sorry, just to cut you, jump in.
Yeah.
So you've hired people in these other states, I'm assuming, to get this content for you guys?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, we're AU Ballers, you know, best Australian ballers, so, you know, we have to put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah.
We've hired a videographer in WA. This is out of our own pocket. He's amazing. And we've partnered up with a couple of guys in Sydney. They're running their own Instagram, but they've then invested in a camera. I've given them one of my lens to then film games in Sydney, so we can get that content. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Guy, let's brag a bit, right? Victoria's got the best young ballers, surely.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
And they try to tell me in the comments that the Victorian NPL is not the best. I said, brother, there's a reason you'll play. Look, brother, I know we're just mucking around, but do you, from what you've seen, do you genuinely think that Victoria has the best young ballers?
I mean, like, my opinion's quite restricted because we've only had Sydney content and WA content for a small amount of time. But recently, just a week ago, the National Youth Championships were on, and under 15s Victoria won it. So I think that's a bit of a statement.
Come on.
But no, we've got some very high quality players here from what we filmed, and yeah.
Now, we don't want to give them a big head because obviously we're the massivest platform in the world, but give us some names, man. Who's sticking out to you at the moment?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah,
man.
telekinesis.
We have
Yeah.
a top three.
No, we'll do five.
Yeah.
5 young ballers that people should keep their eyes on by Guy from AU Ballers. Let's go.
All right. Not in order.
Yeah, yep.
So, player from Melbourne Victory under 15s named Malik.
Yep.
So he's very good. He got a post 4 days ago. It's
Position?
on winger.
Winger, yep.
He got a post 4 days ago. I think it's on 4.2 million right now. So
Yeah, we get that on every post, I think. I think something like that. I think.
Massive. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll interrupt just on that point before I forget. The good thing about our audience, and I see the analytics, we're not just getting Australia, we're getting the US, we're getting the UK, we're getting South America, we've got France in there with comments, we've got Germany. So, you know, that's to my point, my point where I have this, you know, pipe dream or a dream that, we'll expose them, but we are. You know, we're getting a lot of international viewers, and it's showing on the statistics. So,
We'll get back to that because that's a good point. Keep going, Gay. Who else we got?
Jaden Nikovsky, 16 years old, Melbourne City. He signed a professional contract not too long ago. He's very good centre back, very strong on the ball, strong in tackles, very good player.
16.
Obviously Beckham Baker, insane with the ball at his feet, what he can do with the ball, how long he's been doing it, even at this level. We'll get comments all the time saying, "Oh, pass the ball off," or "You have teammates. You have teammates for a reason." But the things he can do with the ball, and especially his end product, insane.
Cool.
Just to add to that as well, because I want to emphasize Beckham Baker. We get a lot of questions and criticisms about, you know, he holds the ball too much. He's this, he's that. go watch him play. Watch his IQ. Watch what he does with the ball and what, where he is. He's got so many other things going for him. Yeah, he's got the techie moves. It's good to watch, but he wouldn't be where he is now with Melbourne City straight up if he were just a techie player. And I'm not a football expert, but I've seen it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, he's not going to be at that level if he's just a ball hog and he's got no end product.
So you mean on his videos you're getting comments saying he holds the ball too much?
Yeah.
Right.
And look, I think to your point, it can be a positive and a negative. We highlight someone doing techie moves, holding the ball, but it's just one part of the game. And no one's going to watch 40 minutes of footage. That's why we're so popular. We miss those through balls. We miss those. The vision where he'll pass it somewhere where you think, oh wow, what a ball,
So that's another sidebar of how much you must miss things and go, we missed that.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, if there were a rewind button, we'd be millionaires.
I'll introduce you to something when hopefully someone gives you guys millions of dollars. I was with the Opta Sport guy just quickly on that point, and I said, how do you capture every celebration for the goal? Because during the Euros they went to different NPL clubs. Shout out to Damo, and he said there is some technology on this camera that if you press record, it records 2 minutes prior or something, and it picks up stuff.
Wow.
And I'm like, how does that even work? It sounds like magic, but
wow.
Apparently there's this thing where it picks up stuff so you don't miss it. But yeah, that would be annoying. And I also wonder on the editing thing if there was something that you could get that's like a live time stamper. So then you could go and edit and all the times could just come up where there was something important.
Yeah.
Do you have something like that?
It's I know from reading it is a technique where pros and we're purely amateur have this technique where they either timestamp or they have a record. Okay, 1 minute 15 through ball.
Yeah.
This, that.
Okay.
It makes that efficient workflow, with editing.
I was actually going to ask that from when you've started to now. Have you picked up certain tips through your editing to make, your work a lot more easier?
Yeah, absolutely. And George has brought a lot of that, those techniques and workflows because he's been doing it a lot longer. Even the certain applications we use, there's already built-in workflows that makes it a lot easier rather than, from here to there. It's multiple levels that you can make it. You can cut the time.
How many we got left, Guy? Did we say 2?
I got 2 left. Yeah.
We got 2 left?
Yeah, 2 left.
Who did we say?
So.
The Melbourne City centre back?
Oh, yeah. So Jaden Nikovsky.
Yep.
Beckham Baker.
Yep.
Malik.
Okay, cool. Do 2 more.
And then 2 players that don't have as big of a platform, but one of them, Callum Pickford.
Yep.
I mentioned him before, 16 years old, senior contract. When we went to film him the first time, we got a very small clip of him. It was just a clip of him scoring a goal, but it was slowed down, like with slow-mo, and you could just see there was a little shift in between him scoring the goal and dribbling the ball. It's something that you would miss if you were just watching the game. As a spectator, but when it's fully slowed down, it was just so nice to see.
Poetry in motion.
Yeah.
So you're saying he shifted the ball to get the shot off?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But if you see it, and it's one of our first videos, so the quality, shows, but the footwork, I'm not a footballer, but the footwork is like a ballerina.
Yeah.
It's just really tight steps, and it's what you see the pros do, your Messi's. It was just, and it was really underrated, I think, because we didn't give the video justice. It was short. But yeah, if you're watching this, go back to that video.
Oh man, slow-mo football
Oh,
with nice slow music over it. Bro, one of the biggest influences of my love for the game of football was the video Zidane the Scientist.
yes.
Have you seen that video on YouTube?
Of course.
If anyone hasn't seen it, go watch it. Because that, oh my God. Sorry, Guy.
And
Last one.
finally, Green Gully player, James. He recently went over to, I think it was the USA with the Bayern Munich World Squad. He's at Green Gully. He's just, he's rapid. He's so good on the ball while also maintaining that speed where he's just so coordinated as well. And I think that's a reason he was selected to do that.
Is this one of the twins? Different person.
No,
No?
he played for Green. He's in the same. He played in Pickford's Callum's game.
Okay.
He had dreads in that game, but I think he's shaved it.
Yeah, he's cut them off, but
Yeah.
no, he's very, very good.
And then number 6, you, huh? Come on.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing with your football? Are you still, is your goal to be a footballer? What's your...
Yeah, that's
Your dream.
always been the goal. I mean, since I was 6, making it professionally, obviously, as the years have gone by, slowly noticing how much of a challenge, how much hard work, how much dedication. But yeah, I always still have that thought in mind of making it to the A-League, making it to Asia, making it to even the Premier League, still my number one goal. But yeah,
Man.
always kept that love, even more so doing this.
So how do you balance these two things now?
Well, it's something we used to do when it was only us two at the start filming games. Was my dad would come to my game, and then straight after that we'd boot off, go to an under-15s game, under-16s, under-18s, and at that time we weren't doing as many under-14s posts, but now with the help of George, it's I don't even have to go to any of the games to film. I can still enjoy my football, keep the love of the game, keep on playing, and yeah, it's definitely taught me some valuable lessons, not only time management but confidence through the interviews, hard work, keeping all my priorities in check. But it's definitely been one of the most positive things.
Well, even if after you have your professional career in the Premier League, you probably have a job in media with the way that you speak. As well, man, honestly.
Well, you're a better
Seriously.
kid than me because
Amazing.
after my under 15 games, I'd just want to get in the car and complain to my parents about how shit every other player was, when really I was probably the problem. So booting off to do other games, bro. So what's your actual role? Like, are you just sort of like the middleman in like, oh, we should go to this game, we should go to that game? Because I know Dad's probably doing the filming. Or are you doing the filming?
Well, currently the filming is George and my dad.
Yep.
More so George, but managing the social media part of things, interviewing, coordinating games to go to.
Yep.
So, yeah, those are really my main roles. Like going through it, like the hundreds of DM requests we get. Oh, go to this game, go to my under-9s game. But
If you see a message that says, an anonymous message that says, come to Lindale State for men's, ignore it.
You
Okay?
should start filming people on the sidelines, the fans.
Yeah.
Like this guy here. Film him
Yeah, but if you
up
want,
close yelling
if you want
at
the
his
real,
brother.
if you want the real, I mean, do you guys come across psychotic spectators or
characters.
parents?
it's funny you say that, actually. The group we just paired up with in Sydney, their name's actually on the sidelines, and one of their main focuses is filming what you don't see.
Yep,
What you
okay.
don't see through our content. Change rooms, motivation before the game, the fans
That's
on the
sick.
sidelines, coaches, and yeah, so, but we've definitely had a few experiences where just in the background of our videos you can hear a parent just yelling their head off.
I was going to say that. I was just about to say that is, of course, you're listening to the footage, and there's probably most of the time you're putting music over the top because of what's going on.
Yeah. And look, most of the time it's positive, but being a parent, sitting with the parents as well,
Yeah.
it's a sad state sometimes, and I genuinely feel sorry, for some of these kids, these parents screaming at their 14-year-old. I mean, even when he was playing under nines, there were parents like swearing at their kids.
Under nines.
Yeah. No word of a lie. Under nine, the kid was bawling his eyes out. His dad was right behind him at the goal because he was a goalie, and he's swearing at him. And that's the ugly part of football that I'd love to highlight, but you can't. But I just want to show these parents, look at yourself.
What is your side as a parent? And obviously, I've always had this thought too, I'm not a parent myself, but
Sure.
coaching, you hear all of that. You're obviously, Guy's in the game and is playing in the NPL at a high level. I don't know how you are, of course, but if you could send a message to the parents now about their way of when their boys are playing or when their team is playing, what would be your message?
My message would be just let them play, let them enjoy. They're 14, they're 15, they're 16. They've got plenty of time to, get criticised. They've got plenty of time to be dropped. They've got plenty of time for, a lot of this negativity when they grow up. Let them enjoy. Unless you've got your mortgage on the game, be quiet.
Some of them might.
I don't think sports is NPL under 16s yet.
Oh man, you never know.
What type of parent were you when Guy was playing?
I can answer, and then he can probably correct me. But
He's lying.
I'm one of those parents that, fortunately, I don't know the game enough to, shout instructions. I know early on, when Guillaume was probably his first game, he would just stand there and watch the ball, and I was that parent saying, "Run, the ball." And then all of a sudden, he just picked up the game. I've never played football myself. Maybe it's the French genes, but my wife's never played. We credit probably FIFA for his skills. But I tend to just sit there, watch, and then after the game, we just talk about it. So, what do you think you did well?
Yeah.
What do you think you can, you could work on? Did you apply what, your coach said to you? Did you apply what you learned from the academies that, you're playing? For me, I don't have the aspiration that Guillaume's going to be my retirement fund.
Project Mbappe.
Yeah. If you're doing that as a parent, I've got unfortunate news for you. As you guys know, you've played professionally. The percentage to go professional and earn a living, especially in Australia, is difficult. For me, we enrolled Guillaume in this sport more for the lessons, resilience, commitment, dedication, the ups, the downs. One thing that resonates in a memory that I'll keep for a long time is Guillaume was playing at the Macca's Cup. How old were you then? Yeah.
11.
Yeah, so he was 11, and they got to the semi-finals, and he came to penalties. And so it drew a crowd. This was at Casey. Yeah. Drew a crowd, and he got to the point where he had to get it in. If he missed, they lose. If he gets it in, they keep going. He skied the ball. He skied the ball in front of all these parents, all of his friends, and he started bawling his eyes out. And we're driving home, and he's crying. And then I said to him, I'm not disappointed. I'm not angry. That I'm far from that. I said, but what I want you to do is learn from this. And what will make me even more proud of you is the next time you're faced with a penalty, you put your hand up.
Yeah.
And, it's up to you. If you can do that, you make me proud. If you don't, I'm still proud. I'm your dad,
Yeah.
Next time there was an opportunity, I saw him. I'm like, oh, no. And he put his hand up.
Come on, Gee.
Yeah. And that's the reason why, we do this for him. It's not about, the dream of going professional. These are life lessons that you can't pay for. Parents will, I say to him, do this, learn from my mistakes, as kids, you know everything, what do you know, mum and dad? But these lessons, you can't pay for it.
Yeah. I think also from my perspective is opportunities,
Yes.
Guy right now is sitting with us because of AU Ballers, and that's an opportunity in itself, my mate's coming around tomorrow who's now a carpenter and he's doing my decking, and that's through football, just because of the social side of things, I was playing with him 15 years ago.
Wow.
And now we are friends. He's a carpenter
Yep.
and he's doing that for me.
Yeah.
And so those circles too are also so important for later down the track.
Absolutely. And look, I look at the two of you, you're fit, you're healthy.
See how he pointed at those two?
No, sorry, Jerome. I emphasize that because they're professional players.
Yeah.
Put that in the
He's got his D.
Oh,
D
damn, I
League
didn't write
champions.
it.
He's not put it up today, but
Yeah, Gee, at Gee's age, I was playing D League. Let's go. Anyway,
No,
get going.
I mean,
I'm messing
sorry,
with you,
but one of the things for my wife and I is that with football, they generally players will generally on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday take it easy. When I was 14, even up to 18, 20, I was partying. Friday, let's get smashed. We're going to party. We'll come home at 5 a.m. and not even know our names. Generally, at this high level, on Friday, you're like, nah, gonna have an easy one because I've either got training or I've got prep. And Saturday night is we've got the big game. I'm gonna go to bed early. Hopefully, not always, but that being surrounded by like-minded athletes tends to sort of ease you up on going crazy. And that's another thing. Hopefully that that's how he'll take this and not sort of lead to I'll just hang out at the shops because I've got nothing else to do.
Well, AU Ballers could turn into the paparazzi and catch ballers off guard.
yeah, exactly.
16-year-old Melbourne City goes to Woolies. Melbourne City centre-back goes to Woolies and has a can of Coke.
Having pies and chips.
Send it to the coach. I got two more questions. The first one would be, we'll keep it positive. In terms of interactions with academies, clubs, people reaching out to you, what's been the go there?
Yeah, it's been quite crazy. So we've had a group over in the UK, Train Effective. So they've reached out to us.
Yeah.
They've got 500,000 followers. Say,
Yep.
love your
I
content.
know him, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a surprise. They said, love your content, love to collaborate. So,
Do it.
that's in the pipeline. We have worked with Oxidate Performance, with their academy, the great bunch of guys. Look, because our fan base is basically that clientele, we are getting a lot of academies saying, hey, come down, free invitation to film us. Come down, how can we get a video? What's it going to cost for a collab? We need to be extremely careful with that because, we don't want to be that
Mercenaries.
sell out or just, partner with anyone because we're seen as, these guys will do anything for a buck.
Yeah.
And before you know it, no one wants to touch us because, just go to them and, drop $500 and, you can promote your...
Yeah.
You want to keep that prestige. You want to keep that credence. You want to keep that...
Surprise.
It's just, it's like it's an honor for a kid to be, highlighted rather than, my daddy just paid $1,000.
And that's the big part of our I guess our mantra or what we limit, because if it's gonna be pay to feature, then we'll be dead in the water in 3 months, because it's just give them throw them a few dollars and you'll be on it, and the quality of football will drop. It'll be little Johnny at not to disrespect.
Oh man, it's always a little Johnny, isn't it?
Yeah, he always gets dragged into our.
Oh, Johnny.
I don't even know who he is, but he's just always little. He's just a little Johnny.
So obviously, as you said, it started organically. Wasn't the vision wasn't there from the start? You kind of you were just doing it.
Yeah.
Is there slowly beginning to be a bit of a vision 3 to 5 years? What are you thinking you're going to do with this?
Look, that's an excellent question. We started this. Guillaume and I started this in January. George came. Things really started to sort of explode in April. So it's only a few months that we've grown to this. It is costing us a lot of money. It's costing us a lot of time and a lot of effort. And we had a spreadsheet just a few days ago with the money that we've made from YouTube, and I think after all expenses we're left with $19, and that's
more than us.
but that's just the videographers, some of the editors. We've got a couple of Guillaume's friends who help with thumbnails that we pay, and they're the priorities. We pay these kids. They're in the football scene. Shout out to Nate and Vinny.
The boys.
Yeah, and I think, and I'll get on to the vision, but the other reason why I started this is, and for the kids watching there, I wanted to show Guillaume, your Mr. Beasts, your all of these influencers and Instagram celebrities, they didn't just get their phone, film a couple of things, and now they're multimillionaire.
Yeah.
This is hard effing work.
Yeah.
Excuse the French. It's really hard work. And for me, this isn't about making Mr. Beast type money. It'd be great, but
I'll take it.
I'm realistic. It's about showing Guillaume that if you want something and you want it enough, there's so much hard work that people don't see in the background. You guys know, as footballers, professional footballers, that kids probably think, they join an academy, kick the ball around, and now they're pro. No, it's the grind that the person next to you isn't willing to commit to, that brings you up, to where you are.
Yeah, I think, especially in social media, this thing happens where people think, I could do that. I just choose not to do it because I've got some moral compass. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But it is so. I have videos where obviously I've been doing a bit of social media the last year or so, and I have videos where people are like, this guy's been blazing, man, smoking, because my eyes are red because it's late at night. I'm trying to get a bloody shot and it's not working, and I'm saying the thing over and over, and I'm so tired that it looks like I'm off my head.
Here's how to scan. Here's how to scan. Here's how to scan. Here's how to scan. No, it wasn't recording. Here's how to scan.
It's true, but it's like everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're making rubbish bins. If you want to be the best and
Absolutely.
compete, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
That's right.
I got one more question and then we'll wrap.
I got one for Guy too.
Okay, well, we got two more then. Guy, what's it like being a football fan? You're 14, right?
Yeah, 14.
What's it like being a 14-year-old football fan? Because me, Gav, and Rash are roughly the same age. When we were 14, at least I can speak for myself, football was everything to us. It still is now, but in different ways. But when I was 14, the main things that I was consuming was YouTube highlight reels, football ads, like commercials and stuff on YouTube, FIFA, and football magazines. And I'd always cut out the posters.
442.
442, all of that. What do kids your age, is it all just, because back then we didn't have social media like we do now. So I couldn't just
YouTube.
there was nothing. Like, okay, there was a little bit of Facebook. I didn't even have MySpace. So all it was YouTube. But how is it now at your age? Where do you consume most of your content? What are you consuming? Like, do you like these football content creators? Because again, back when we were younger, we didn't have football content creators. There was one group around, and that was F2. And I bought their DVD. You don't even know what a DVD is, Guy, I don't think. That's it. But now you've got, people like Speed and, me and Rash spoken about Speed. You got people like Speed, you got Sidemen and all that. What are you consuming?
Well, obviously there's been an evolution of social media, technology, all of this, but probably the main thing that I'm consuming would be Instagram, TikTok, still YouTube with the highlights, especially when the Euros was on not too long ago. My daily routine would be wake up in the morning, check Optus Sport, check all the highlights, and even now, my daily routine would be go on Instagram, search up Fabrizio Romano, see the
Sounds like my daily routine.
see the transfer news. But yeah,
Who are some of your favorite content creators that aren't us? Because we're number one. So who's number 2, 3? Like who do you like? Because it's weird because there's 10, 15 year difference, but we didn't consume football this way. No. Like, do you feel like kids? 2 questions for you, Guy. 1, who are you consuming, like football content creators? 2, do you feel like kids still get out in the street and kick the ball around as much as we used to? I feel like they don't. I don't know. Is that still a thing?
Well, to answer your first question, one of my favorite football content creators is actually Rashid. I've been following your content for
a while.
My man.
Come on. Come on. Here's how to scan. Yeah, let's go.
With all the advice, I find that's really helping. Like, even before we started AU Ballers, early stages, my dad would just send me the videos. Like, this is important to you. So definitely Rashid. Also, like groups who not only just post football related content, but even I always forget the name, but like football knowledge, like box to box. I watch them a lot, all the football knowledge questions.
Yep. But
no, there's so many content creators now that one day you could be looking at one and then the next day another. But and
that's crazy.
And to answer your second question, definitely not as much as it used to be with your generation going out and playing on the street. Like, I remember COVID, one of my best memories when there was all the quarantines was going down to my local park, setting up 2 goals, and then we'd get about 20 people and we'd do a 10v10.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was doing it at Casey. That's how Sunday 3 p.m. started. We would go during COVID, allegedly, and there was 50 of us, allegedly.
Yeah, there was a video that went viral, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of them,
the cops came.
Yeah, and I was like, this is, like, what else do you want us to do, Yeah. Keep going, Gee,
Yeah. There's not really many tournaments outside of club that you can really participate in. And obviously in Australia, football's not as big of a sport as footy, basketball. That's one of the reasons we started to sort of help that get more
exposure.
Yeah. So
do you feel like will you have a kick on gravel? Will you do that? Will you have a kick on the road? And I say that to say, when I was 13, 14, I'd have no problems with using the 2 trees at the front of my house as goals and kicking it from my poor neighbour's driveway.
But you know what I think it is?
I feel like
Jerome?
now everyone wants to play on AstroTurf, which
I
is
think it's this. I think it's this. For me, when I think back to when I would do that, it was when I was bored. The majority of the time that you would go out and have a kick or go to the park with your mates is like, I'm bored, I've got nothing to do,
Okay.
so I go for a kick. Do you ever feel bored? Because of that, do you ever feel
wretched
bored?
thing.
You can't, like, I remember moments where let's say I was going to the movies with my mates and I would get there early and you'd sit there and you'd be like, what do I do?
play
Sit there for
play
30 minutes
pinball.
like a loser, like looking around. But now you're never bored. So it's like, okay, I'm not bored. I don't need to go for a kick to fill that hour or half an hour.
Where you live, is there certain mates around in your street
Yeah,
or
that's a
around the
big thing.
corner? Because that, for me, that was a massive thing. Is like, boys, after school, we're all getting together. We're going down to the park.
Yeah.
Or on the weekend, it was typical. Like Carter, all the boys, I'd head down to Dandy North.
You were literally you were born in the literal hotspot of ballers. Like, so it
So
makes sense.
My
Dandy North.
summer was Noble Pools,
Yeah.
at the pools, and we'd play all day.
Yeah.
Oasis, go to Oasis, get on the grass bit.
Yeah.
Go to Lindau, play there.
Yeah.
What do most of your friends do in their off hours when they're free?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have around my area. We don't have many football players. Like, sometimes we would be playing football at school, but because there's so many basketball, footy players in my school, it's not ideal. And then even with Box Hill and Bentley, a lot of my teammates, they live quite far away, especially in Bentley. So to catch up, it would be find a location where we're both like in the middle of where we both live, and even then, so much work I have to do for AU Ballers, for football, like training like nearly every day, doing the management nearly every day. So
What days are you training now, Guy?
So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I have my Bentley training, and then Tuesday, Thursday morning, I have group training with Oxidate, and then Saturday with Oxidate as well, I have
Bloody hell.
speed training,
Yep.
and then Saturday's match day.
Sunday.
And then
Sunday's match day.
Actually, that's a question I have for you guys. I've had mixed information about overtraining or we're not doing too much. Guillaume did this TIDC international showcase, whatever they call it. And, they had some coaches from overseas, from Italy, from, I think, other European countries come down. And the feedback was that our players, and these are, the under 13s at the time, they're unfit. They were huffing and puffing after warm-up. When they had the ball, they didn't know what to do with it. And the game IQ just wasn't there. And they said, in Europe, we're training, the kids are training 6 to 7 days a week, 3 hours a day, excuse me, at least. So trying to find that balance, is he doing too much? Is he doing too little? I mean, for me, I get criticized, he's doing too much, he's doing all this training. But for me and my wife, I'd rather he be training than on his phone, for 2 hours a day. He's running around, he's being healthy. We're not pushing him to a point where, he's not sleeping or he's getting injured. But the flip side is, what did you guys, or what would you recommend if you were 14 again to your parents?
Do you remember your schedule? I know my schedule.
I don't remember now.
From
yours was let me move countries by myself when I'm 12.
So mine was from 14 to 20. Monday to Friday train. Game Saturdays. Sundays was my off.
But
Over
hold on. You're not going to school.
You're not going to
that's
school.
Well, that's what I'm putting in perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Monday to Friday, I was in Argentina. We'd train every day. 9 a.m. to say 11. I'd go home, siesta.
Oh my God.
Serious though, yeah. I'd go home, siesta.
Argentina, yeah.
Had about 45 minutes, 1 hour.
Get on
go
Tinder.
down.
Tinder wasn't around then.
Oh,
And then I'd remember I'd wake up, I'd go to the gym, just do my whatever I needed to do at that time. I'd probably go upper body Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lowers Tuesday, Thursday, and then I'd wall ball every day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know? And that probably would be equivalent to the one-on-ones or to the extra training or all the other stuff that the boys are doing. You know? That now, back then, I didn't have any one-on-one coaches or any other coaches. So I would do my normal schedule with my team, which would be Monday to Friday. And then after that, just my prevention work, my gym work, and wall ball.
Man, I would say that, and I'm not the guy to give advice, but I would say that as long as you're enjoying it, right, you'd never want to get to the point where it's like, it feels like a chore. Because once it starts feeling like a chore, then you will fall out of love with the game. Not forever, but like you might come back around. But just, I don't know, I just feel like once you stop feeling a love for it, then maybe you are going too hard. Obviously, you need to work your socks off to become a pro, obviously. But I just think that you've got to the enjoyment of the game is more important for me anyway.
To me, I don't know if you had this rush, but I've never had a day where I've gone, I don't feel like having a kick. Like I've got training and I'm like obviously I'll be tired and be like, not that I don't want to train.
Yeah, you're
but
just
when
tired.
the ball's involved, I'm like, yeah, all right, I want to be here. There's never been a day where I've had team training and I'm like, I'd rather just stay home today.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I've never had that.
I definitely have.
Yeah, you
But I
You
think
have.
to your question, the hard thing is on social media is the things that get the most engagement is when people talk in absolutes, right? So if I came and said if we clip this up and I said you should be training 5 times a week with this hours and this hours and this hours, that would get the most engagement. But the reality of it is it's nuanced and it's individual, right? It always comes down to your body and your mind will tell you what's right for you. Because his schedule, his body type, his brain, everything is unique to him, right? It's completely different to any other player in the world. So to base what you do off other players is wrong.
Yeah.
In some ways, right?
It's like telling someone what to wear.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if we went and sent Jerome right now to run 10K, he wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, I have
But
shin
if we-
splints.
If we built his body up
That's the point.
over
So-
time, then he would be able to.
What I
hopefully.
would say in general and what I have seen and know happens is in general, players in Australia are not doing enough. And when they go overseas, they start getting injured and it takes them an adaptation period of 6-12 months till their body starts to get used to the intensity and the load where they stop getting these little niggles and stuff and then they're able to train at that level and intensity and volume, right? So what I would say is always just comes back to, okay, do you feel okay? Do you feel like going for a kick? Are you injured? No? Okay, I'll go kick then. Don't let some sports scientist come and tell you, no, you've done X kilometers this week and because your blood pressure is doing... how do you feel? Oh, okay, I feel good. I'm going to train. I genuinely think that. Like we've got more staff members than we do have players now in football. And they're like load, everything's tracked to the minute, to the kilometer, to the millimeter. That it's like you take away from, okay, what does the player actually feel? How do they feel?
I guess to your point, your Maradonas, your Zidanes didn't have these trackers.
Yeah.
They didn't have these, advanced sports.
I'll tell you what
scientists.
Maradona had another day.
we even had it ourselves when I've been at teams where the coach cuts it short and the boys just want to play an extra game of cage, an extra 3 minutes, and it's like the intensity is good, the game's going good, and they're going, nah, boys, it's too much. And the players, they're in the moment, and we're like, just give us one more. We want to have an extra.
And you know what's so interesting about those times, right? There's more injuries now.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
hell
all
yeah.
this science and technology, and there's more injuries now. Okay, you could say that the amount of kilometers they actually play, they played probably the same or if not more games back, let's say 30 years ago.
Yes.
But the kilometers are maybe a bit higher and there's the repeat sprints a bit higher in the games. But I don't think it's that much different that you can go, okay, all this sports science and strength conditioning stuff is working to a T because there's more injuries now. So
Well, I just want to say, though, that a lot of these, European guys, a lot of them are going to living in digs and stuff. Like their whole life is based around football. They're not going to normal high schools. So, of course, they're able to train twice a day, 7 days a week because, you know, they are literally, okay, they might do schoolwork that's implemented by the academy or whatever. But if you're at the Barca Academy or whatever, everything's done through there. Like, of course you're going to train more. Your whole life's revolved around it. Here, you know, with all due respect, you're not going to go to Gee's high school and he's going to be playing, he won't be playing football there.
No.
He's got his blazer on.
And another thing that I think parents need to understand, and also players here, is that even if you are training the amount that the players are training over there, the competition is lower, which is when you do fly over there and you go, I've trained this much. How come I'm not at the level? It's not because of that. It's because of the competition here that we're playing at, you know? And that's only going to build with time, really.
And the last thing that I'll say on that, just the load thing, is what Gav said about the, what did you call it? What did you call it?
Wall ball.
touches? Wall ball. Wall juggling, whatever you want to call it. So much of the stuff that you can do to benefit yourself is not going to put much load on your legs.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing plyometric jumps, hops into, like if you're just getting a ball and the wall, touch, that's so good for your development. You don't need to be load, you know?
Before we wrap,
One more for Gee.
all right, quick though.
Gee, I want a little behind the scenes, not throwing anyone under the bus, but maybe throwing a few kids. If
We love
they
throwing people under the bus.
they know AU Ballers are coming, are they going out to Rebel, getting some new boots, getting a fresh fade? You know, could be anything. Getting the new grip socks, making sure the boots are clean.
Do they know you're coming, first of all?
You know,
Well,
are they bringing a few extra pair of boots, swapping at half time, trying to change, you know, the reel up?
it definitely depends on the game. Like, if it's a massive game, we'll definitely be there. If it's a game that they've requested and we've said, yeah, we'll be there, you can tell that some of them have, you know, just made that little extra thing to sort of, clean the boots before the game, get a haircut, make sure, it's really funny, we were at this one game and first half, no one knew we were coming. Second half, we saw this one player, he put on wrist tape and he
Kisses the ground.
he put on wrist tape. He put on he made sure all his socks were fixed, his shin pads were fixed just for the video. He ended up getting featured and he did a celebration. But yeah, I definitely think some people sometimes, you know, just make sure they look perfect for the camera.
Yeah.
I think it's cooler if you look not perfect. Like the kid that played his high school
We
game in
know.
trackies.
yeah.
We know.
Hold on, let me examine. Are you wearing Nike socks today with your suit? Because that's what you usually do.
No, I don't, bro.
Yes,
don't
you
tell the people lies.
Hey, it's truth.com over here. That kid that played with trackies was cool to me
Yeah.
at his
Yeah,
high
that
school
was-
game.
that
Like,
was-
you're playing a game in trackies and you are ripping people,
Yeah.
like constantly nutmegging and drilling people. And I think it's cool, that nonchalant stuff, but I guess that's a good question, Gav.
I might touch on, and it's been on the back of my mind with what Gavin said earlier about, you know, who does Guillaume watch on social media? And Guillaume pointed out that, oh, look, you know, one day you're watching this person and then all of a sudden this person pops up. You know, to the people that are running their social media, you know, this is unpredictable. Where, you know, people have said we're the shit hot thing at the moment, but that could be in a month's time. You know, we're nobody. So I think you know, understanding that as well, with what we do, just because something's shit hot at the moment doesn't guarantee longevity.
No.
And it goes back to that hard work. You know, I can't emphasize enough, hard work, trying to evolve yourself, trying to develop yourself in whatever you do, you know, to have that longevity. So yeah, if you think it's easy and, you know, once you've made it and you can sit back. We're actually doing so much work, more work now than we were 3 months ago.
Yeah. It's harder to maintain than get to the
Absolutely.
top, or whatever.
And
That's
I
What
think-
what has your growth been? What are your numbers in terms of followers?
So Guillaume can
Probably-
tell us
I can
that.
probably answer that. So, recently in the past 5 days, we've gained 12,000 followers because of that that Malik video that got 4.3 million. We went from 48,000 to just before the show I checked we were 59.7. But the growth
Jesus.
you can, like from the I think the word's demographics. From the demographics on TikTok, it was showing us that our sort of net followers per week is about 4,000, and then
That's so good, man.
on Instagram, I think it's a bit less. It's maybe about 200, 300, but still very good. And the target audience would be that age, 13 to 25, I think it was. And
That's such a good chunk
Yeah.
of, and you know, like the 12-year-olds are going to turn 13, and then, you know, and you just, it's like a conveyor belt, and everyone's going to keep playing football, and it goes from 13 to 25, like,
And I saw before, I think I saw you guys are on 22 on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And you started when exactly?
January 17th.
Well,
Yeah.
damn.
that's quick.
That's pretty quick.
That's
That's
good.
pretty much
Yeah.
when we started. Well, we started in Feb, I think. That's crazy. Do you guys have any plugs or shout outs or anything that people should look forward to, or just, you know, keep your eyes peeled?
Yeah, look, keep your eyes peeled. I think shout out to a lot of our followers. You know, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. You know, we get a lot of comments saying, thanks so much for featuring me. And I said, look, without you, you know, playing and giving us these features, we wouldn't exist. So, you know, that's the other point for me for not charging people for this, because without you guys and girls, you know, we wouldn't be, you know, here doing what we're doing at the moment. Yeah, just we're looking at expanding our content, trying to get some money, so it's
Okay,
not
man.
a money pit
talk
for
to
us.
me.
But look, we still enjoy it. It's something that we'll keep, you know, doing until you guys don't love it anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, I'm a big fan. I know so many of my mates are. You guys are doing an incredible job at highlighting the talent we have here. I know people scoff at Australia sometimes. We've said it here on the pod. Fahid said it, whatever. Oh, you tell someone you're Australian? No, that's about to be over soon. Partially due to you guys highlighting the talent that we do have here. And, yeah, I'm actually appreciative of the work that you guys are doing for the new generations. And
Yeah, I think even just for the new generation, things that I wish I had.
Yes.
You know, this is something that I wish when I was younger was around.
Yeah.
So I think for all the younger kids that don't even realize,
Don't take it for granted.
how important it is, or what a good job you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's something that I wish I had when I was younger. Of even if it was one clip, you know.
Guys, I'm sure you're already following them, but if you're not, follow AU Ballers with a Z on the end.
With a Z,
Yeah.
yes.
Is that on everything? Same on everything?
Yep, on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
There you go, man. It's all covered. AU Ballers, thank you so much. Arnold, Gee, we really appreciate you guys. Suited and booted, like, comment, subscribe, all that. 5-star, whatever the hell. Do it all. I don't know. Just like it and share it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no way you're 14.